Yours and mine. ABL FanZone.
You are locked into Afrobeat Live.
From the motherland and beyond. Don't touch the dial.
Yes, a very good evening and welcome to the Afrobeat FanZone show. Happy New Year. Welcome to everyone. Good to be here again. Hi. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, everybody. How you guys doing? It's nice to be back again. We at it. We've watched a lot of soccer games over the holiday, so Happy New Year. Now let's talk about it.
Yeah. We have some guests today. We have Paje.
Good evening. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2021.
Thank God for January 20th.
For real. I will kill cow tomorrow. Well, yes, I'll kill the cow tomorrow and then I'll do Sarah when they are doing this thing. So when I wait for meat.
We thank God for it too, because without the result that we wanted, God knows what will happen next, man. We'll be miserable. Inka David, good to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody. I pray that 2021, bring all our good heart desires.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Amen. And Yinka George, welcome to the FanZone show again.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Sorry for my technical difficulties to start. It's good to see you guys again, and hopefully it's a great show.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great show because I think that we are at the halfway point of the season in the Premier League, in Europe, in Spanish, in Spain, in Germany. And I have all these great guys next to me here to talk about not just their own teams, but also other teams as well, to see where we are, what's going on, what we can learn, how we see the season going. A very weird season, right? Tied with the COVID-19, no fans, weird results. It's a really, really open season, right?
Absolutely. The rate the games are coming, it's been fast and furious. It's been fun for fans, but the weirdness for the players and the teams, you can tell, it shows.
Absolutely. Well, let's have, can you share, to have everybody share the link, everybody get on board, because we'd like to use this platform to comment on Facebook, comment on YouTube, so we can share your comments, so we can see what you guys are saying. We see Hydris Bell, welcome, Happy New Year, buddies. We can see your comment. Thank you for your comment, and we're using this StreamYard new platform, which seems to be getting better every single time. But thank you for joining. So let's take a moment to share our streams, share the link so people can join the show. Let's give it a few minutes while we get ready for today. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things. We'll talk about the Premier League. What Ty and I talked about, with what we'd like to do really is to look at a couple of things. One, to review the game yesterday, the big game yesterday, to talk about our teams and give them a mid-season grade. And take a positive spin at it. What are the things that we think each of our teams can do to have a better half of the season? Irregardless of where we stand right now, it's a very close title season. What can each of our teams do in the second half of the season to improve? What can Man United do? What can Chelsea do? What can City do? What can Everton do? What can Arsenal do? What can Leicester do to improve their form over the next 6 months? So it's a really positive, critical critique of what each team can do. And then we'll talk through who's been the best impact signing for each club this summer and for the Premier League. and then we'll talk about some big games coming up in January. A lot of games we have, massive games coming up, and then we'll wrap it up with a quick view at La Liga, and then we'll talk about our next show, which will be the Champions League and Europa League show coming up in a few weeks. So while we're sharing, Paje, Yinka, and Ade, how have you guys been so far? Generally, how's your health, mental health? How are you coping with the COVID-19?
Yeah, for me, thank God for soccer. Soccer really helped a lot. I don't know where I'll be without soccer. Most importantly, my family, that's been my major support line, my kids, my entire family as a whole, I don't have any excuse but to give God the glory.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that sentiment from a lot of people, even in the UK, people I talk to. They say that the absence, the fact that they have football to even look up to as an entertainment actually helps them get through these weeks where we're at home. They're in lockdown. They can't go anywhere, or like us here. So this football really helps them to get over the boredom and really helps their mental health. I know it's helping me, even in the bad times. It helps me to look forward to something we can all enjoy. Paje, what about you? How have you been doing, buddy, with all the COVID-19, the maggots, all the madness we've been seeing around? How have you been coping,
man? I tell you, until the election day, COVID-19 was terrible when you're indoors and you have to watch everything on TV. But once the things flipped, I began to enjoy watching TV again because people are now flipping the script, and those who are laughing and sheepishly at us began to cry. And I was enjoying that immensely. I won't lie. One thing that's kept me in, thankfully, is Agbo COVID. Thank you very much. And I share Yinka David's sentiment. We thank God. We don't take anything for granted. We've been quite lucky that, because those who have lost their lives, for some of them who try to be as careful as we've been, it's not because we've been smarter than them. It's just God's grace, and we've been in His mercy, and we've been lucky. For me, yes, football and also music has kind of kept me busy. I've been writing and also working on ways to, in my own tiny little way, promote, the album I just dropped, and, working with my guys in Nigeria and doing different things. And so, that's kind of kept my mind afloat, without feeling too, of course, one misses going out there and coming to watch soccer in live with you guys and flattening Yinka George's tire, and he wouldn't know who did it, while Adams Morgan, and he'll have to call AAA to tow him away. But we'll get back to that after COVID.
Absolutely. Yinka George, how many flat tires has he given you?
In Jesus' name, it will be 0. But for me, it's kind of the same sentiments with everyone. Just happy that my family's safe. Well, my immediate family, I did have COVID, inflict some damage on close family member of mine. But for the most part, everyone's safe. I just thank God, and everyone just needs to be safe out there. This thing is not a joke. Like I said, a close family member of mine died because of COVID, and you need to take it seriously. But other than that, football has been keeping me entertained. Just enjoying the games. Hopefully the players are staying safe and can keep safe, because that's most important. Health is most important. I know they're entertaining us, but they also need to keep their own safety in mind. And that's about it. Just staying home, staying safe, and watching, a lot of sports.
Yeah, the good news is that last week there were 36 cases of COVID amongst the 1,600 tests. This week it's down to 16. So there's an improvement in the infection rates amongst Premier League players and staff. So that's a good. The fact that it's actually declining amongst them, it's good. Because at one point it was really scary. Aston Villa players were out. City players had it. Pogba had it. It's stuff is real. I mean, you don't know how it affects players, right? Some players come back immediately. Other players are still suffering. I think the Newcastle guy, Saint Maximin, had to go to France. He's still affected from it, and it's been weeks.
So it's different for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Aston Villa is going to cope. That's put them back 4 games, right?
4 games. Yeah. Four
Yeah,
games.
that's going to be tough for them, man.
Yeah. The only good for the only thing that they don't have FA Cup, they don't have League Cup, so it's just they can find weekends, but we have to play almost every week, every day, almost twice a week for the next
Yeah.
couple of It's going to be
That's
difficult.
tough.
Yeah, but everybody else is playing almost every 4 or 5 days now. Because I
It's
checked
crazy.
City schedule before the show, and I was looking at that. Same thing with Chelsea starting now.
It's
I think
crazy.
Chelsea just got the longest break they're gonna have, which was 12 days, and then after that is every 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Good. Ty, how have you been? Let's wrap it up. How have you been?
I've been great. COVID has definitely humbled us in a lot of ways, but it's also been a blessing. I think I've been one of the luckier ones because I was able to travel around Thanksgiving time with my family and came back. Nothing like I did say, my immediate family is great, but we've lost extended, family. So, but outside of that, I've been great. I thank God. Like I said, I feel like we've been one of the luckier ones. My kids were shut down from playing soccer, for a long time, but slowly they came back and then they had a break. Now they're back again. So
Yeah.
mentally, we thank God. Physically, we thank God. And, it's a nice little break and changing strategy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that everybody's well. We're all doing fine. So let's get into the meat of it. Let's talk about our favorite league, Premier League. What's been going on? We'll talk about yesterday's big game. Liverpool versus Man United. What did we learn about both teams from yesterday? What did we learn about the game yesterday from both teams? Where are they standing? How are they looking? What did we learn?
I learned that both teams are playing to their strength. I think United played well. I went back and I actually watched the game a second time. I feel like they
You
played
did
well. I know they got a lot of slack for not
packing the bus, right?
because I was one of the people that said, "Oh, they were parking the bus." But when I went back and watched it again, they played to their strength for what they had in countering Liverpool's possession-based game that they play, and they were able to get a lot of. They were efficient with the shots they took on goal, and that was something that was overlooked. They were very efficient. So I feel like they got a bad rap for parking a bus, but I don't think that's what it is. I think you play to your strength, and Ole is he's kind of surprising me a little bit this season. I'm kind of a little impressed with him. I wouldn't tell that to you, got David, but I'll save that. That's why I saved it for the show to make him. I see him smiling now. He's a bit happy, but I think Liverpool is missing Diego Jota. That's a big key. If he was there in that game, I feel like they would have won that game. But they're missing him. Injuries is a part of the game. There's nothing you can do about it. But I think United they played some good football yesterday.
I mean,
So before you guys go, I want to make a quick comment. So I actually agree with before Yinka Davis go, but actually I agree with Yinka George in a lot of ways, except for a few things. I was talking to my son about it because now we sit down and analyze game, and also I put it in a little FanZone group that my prediction was going to be 2-1 Man U. I actually thought Man U was going to win because when you watch Man U these days, I don't think for them it's not a matter of packing the ball their style. It's just the fact that Ole has learned to play with what he's got.
Yeah.
The only way I disagree with Yinka is with Yinka George, or let me say I did to make it short, is I don't think they really miss Jota. I think who they missed was Van Dijk not being in the back. We should push Hennessy to the middle and kind of facilitate the middle. If you noticed last year, Hennessy did a lot of work that wasn't really known. Am I saying he deserves the PFA Player of the Year? No, but it's actually in the top 5 because of what he's able to do in that middle to get the front three going. And he can only do that in the middle when he's actually playing in the middle. Yesterday, he had to play center back because Van Dijk is missing. So that's why I say who they really miss is Van Dijk back there, being the quarterback that controls.
I'll just add one thing though. I don't really agree with that because they have Thiago. Thiago replaces Henderson and anyone they can have in the middle. So and they still control.
No. I agree. Thiago is a great player, but as far as connecting to the front three of Salah, Firmino, and Mane, his style is different. Thiago will pull a shot while you have Hennessy is going to connect to those guys and have them walk. That's just what I say as the difference. So anyway, to wrap up, I don't want to go on and on about it. I felt like it was a good 0-0 game, to be honest with you. I thought it was a good 0-0 game. Like I said, I predicted Man U was going to win based on that fact that Liverpool has to make those changes that I mentioned earlier. So I wasn't disappointed in the game. I know a lot of people were online saying, "Oh, it was a boring game." It wasn't a boring game. It's a good tactical game, and there were a lot of chances that were created. They just didn't go in.
Yeah. Now, do you think that? I mean, do you think it was a missed opportunity for Man United? That the fact that you had two centre backs missing, you had Henderson and Fabinho playing centre back, Salah, Firmino, and Mane were not firing. Was it an opportunity missed by United to take all 3 points? It's a question.
I don't know if I'll call it a missed opportunity because I honestly expected Liverpool to win. Now the glaring difference, and one thing I'm going to tag on to what Taye said about Van Dijk, games like this, even though Van Dijk's a centre back, those corner kicks, if 4 comes in, usually Van Dijk gets 1 in. And games like this might be a 1-0 game where it's a centre back. Because recently, Liverpool have not been connecting the dots offensively. Recently, they haven't scored that many goals in the last God knows how many games, right? But there's some games, big games like this, where the goal comes from an unexpected source. And usually someone like Van Dijk, who shows up in big games, pretty much like the guy who was at, what's his name? The guy at Man City before, what's his name? Your retired captain. Right.
Company.
Like last minute goal, corner kick, bam, 3 points. I mean, because I feel like, do you want to say Man U was parking the bus? Ole was playing to his strengths. But we all know that if it's a different team that was playing like that, we know what we'll be saying, right?
Because that different team is first, and he always parks the bus. So yes, we would say that.
Let's go to the
Let's let everybody have their turn. That's cool.
Let's go to the Man U guy here. What was your thoughts on the game, man? Did you expect more from your team? The fact that, given the fact that Liverpool had their best centre backs out and they were playing midfield as a centre back, like David. David.
First of all,
you frozen?
First of all,
it looks frozen.
There we go.
Okay.
Am I frozen?
I hear you.
You're good. We are you.
Okay. Hey guys, first of all, I need to give my namesake some credit. It takes a real man to come back. A real man, a true real man, to actually come back and admit that he was wrong by his initial analysis of the game. Because I saw his comment on our chat group, I was just shaking my head like, this dude, man. But everything he explained are very, very, very much on point, and I give you credit for that. But a lot of people did not give us the barest or the minimum chance of being where we are at the beginning of the season. And one thing I keep emphasizing to everybody is that what United is doing right now with Ole is they're building a foundation. We're not desperate to winning titles. We have a lot of young players on the team right now that what we want them to do is to work together, gel, and be a formidable team in the next 1 or 2 seasons, 3 seasons max. But the average age of players in the United team is like 23, 24, which works for us. So back to the game yesterday, and for Taye, I think Taye was very active on the chat yesterday. One thing I said is that the game could go either way, and I went as far as saying that whoever wins the game yesterday will end up winning the title this year. But there was no winner. But I still stand by my prediction. I'm going to give the league title to Liverpool. Liverpool, despite all the challenges they had, they're missing Van Dijk a lot, a big part of their team, a big player in their team. And despite that, they're still able to get some results. Not what they want, but they're still able to get some really good result. So I will tell you, I'm happy with the result. Would I have been happier if we had won? If that last minute shot by Pogba had not been saved by Alisson? I mean, I don't know how Alisson did that. It's already laminating already that was a goal, but for somehow he kept that ball out of the goal. But overall, it was 10/10 for both teams for me, and I think they gave a good account of themselves.
Is this something we see now with the big teams? Because it looks like when they play each other, nobody wants to lose. So invariably it ends up being a draw. I think Chelsea, Man United was 0-0. City United was 0-0 until they had to win a game in the League Cup. Then they went for it. Tottenham versus United was 6-1. It looks like we'd rather keep it tight because it's early and it's so tight rather than trying to expand out. But I felt like United could have won that game if they went for it. I think Liverpool were there for it. You will never get a better chance to beat Liverpool at Anfield than you would have yesterday. That was my opinion. And you are 3 points ahead anyway. So the worst case scenario, even if you had lost the game, you'll still be joint top.
You have to remember that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you have to remember that they still have a very, very formidable forward. Firmino, Mane, and Salah. You mess with those three players, you're going to be considered like 4 to 6 goals. So I'm not going to advise any team, Man U especially, to go out against. No. Go ahead.
So, Carl, the problem that Man U have, and I know some people disagree with me on this, the problem with Man U have is their middle three is not that good. Right? In order for you to go all out to attack a top team, you're going to have a middle that can help your attackers attack. If you notice, they play defensively and then they're trying to use their pace to attack and score goals. That's their style. People say they're packing balls, but that's just the way they're built. That's all they have. They don't have a good middle three. They don't have a midfield that City has.
But it begs the question, right? Is that not the manager? They can't change the system to make sure.
No, it's the personnel.
I'll give you an example, right? Atalanta don't have the quality players that Man United have. Atalanta went to Anfield with Van Dijk and literally blew them off the park by changing the way they play.
Atalanta is a totally different team the way they're built, right?
So my point is that the quality of the players that United have are way beyond what Atalanta has. So
not in the middle. Not in the middle.
Across the whole field.
Not in the middle. The middle is where United. It's not the same with the middle.
Atalanta's midfield is not as good as Man United's midfield.
Oh no.
We have Pogba.
Name me one Atalanta player in the midfield that's.
We have Pogba. We have.
You have Pogba, right? You have Van de Beek, who you didn't play.
Exactly.
Okay, Van de Beek is a talented player that will probably get into Atalanta's first team. Yet Atalanta went to Liverpool and basically outplayed them and beat them 2-0. Clean.
So, Kyle, you said something, right? They didn't play Van de Beek, right? And who did they play? They played Pogba. They played Fernandes, who's a 10, right? It's a world-class 10. I'll give it to him. He's one of the best 10 in the world right now, right? But who's the third person in there?
They played Fred and McTominay.
Fred, I'm not a fan of Fred. Come on, Fred. Fred won't make Liverpool, City, even Chelsea.
Yeah, but my point is that Atalanta's midfield is not even as good as the players that Man United have. It goes back to the manager. The manager must be able to take these players and be able to win a game. Ole has not won a top 6 game all season against any team.
Let's say if Atalanta was an EPL, I don't think they'll be in the top 4.
They will be like Leeds.
Yeah, but they still went to Liverpool and beat Liverpool. Clean.
Yeah, but that's a game. Every team when they play special Champions League is different. The way you handle Champions League is different from the way you handle league. It's different from the way you handle FA Cup.
What about Aston Villa 7-2? Are you telling me Aston Villa players are better than United players?
Yeah, but we have to look at the context. That was early in the season.
I think they got beat 5-2 by Leicester.
What of Fulham? Are Fulham players better than United players? My point is that with the talent that United have, the coach should be able to get a performance out of them and change their tactics to be their top 6 rebel. It can't just be counter-attacking football, sit back and counter. That's all you play. And when you play against RB Leipzig, you get blown away because you can't adapt. That's my issue. I just feel, and I had a discussion with you can't deal with that. I just feel that with the quality of players that United have, you have Martial, you have Cavani, you have Pogba, you have Fernandes, you even have bloody Maguire, right? You have Aaron Wan-Bissaka, right?
Like I said, the problem is that middle.
Be able to get a result, in my opinion. But
they need a really, really solid six in that middle to protect the back four and attack with the front five. Correct. The problem is they don't have a great six, right? They don't. That's the problem.
I agree completely with Ty. If Magic was in his prime, they can do what you're saying. They don't have a Fernandinho. They don't have even a Rodri. Pogba is none of those things. Pogba is an attacking mid. He's not going to give you that defense you have to go and attack. So without that, you guys to tell the manager to go out and attack is malpractice. Because Liverpool will destroy you.
Yeah, I hear
like that. Malpractice. Let me write it down. Malpractice.
Yeah. I think the
go ahead.
Yeah. I think the manager should have done better with the players that he has. You can't tell me that you play Chelsea at home, Tottenham at home, City at home, Liverpool away, and you cannot even win one of those games. So all you're doing is counter-attacking.
But you have to realize though, one thing, Carl, is to win. If you look at, and I know that Yinka Davis is going to smile at this. If you look at the times when Ferguson was winning the league, Ferguson was not really concerned about beating the top six. All those Akbarutus at the bottom, flog them.
That's true.
That's how you get your points.
But
when it comes to the big boys,
thank you.
Get 1-1. Go away.
We talked about it.
But Jay, I go back, check the data in the past 10 years.
What is the point?
In the past 10 years, no team has won the league without winning the top six. Go and check the data. Fact.
Right, but it's not a requirement. It's a point system.
Yeah, I know. But
so
but
if out of the remaining 19 teams, if from 7 and from 6 and below is how many teams? 14. If you get like 60 something points from those guys, which is what Man U is doing.
But the levels that Liverpool and City have set in the past 5-10 years, no team can win the championship without beating or getting points from your top six. That's why Jose Mourinho has a very good chance of finishing first this year. Because
the thing is also you have to realize that this season and last season there's been a COVID issue. So it depends on how fit your squad is.
Mm-hmm.
And determine who you're going to take your chances with. So if you go out there, only might come out here and say, okay, let's just carry 1 point to go away. Because next week we have Burnley. Burnley, we must go and score 7. But this one, let's just do what we have to do. Because, it's not always, yes, I know what you mean. Usually, City and Liverpool have set the precedents where they go and take care of, and they rack all those points up. But this may not be a 100-point season.
No. So this season is going to be a 90-point season.
Let's not forget when they started the season expansively, they were dropping points, and it's about 5 weeks ago, and everybody was saying Ole will be gone soon. They were trying to get Pochettino, right? And then he changed it all of a sudden. Now they're number 1 in the league. Let's not forget that was just like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, but Ty, my point is all the teams that they've played, in order to win the championship, right? You have to be able to beat at least a number of your peers.
Let's be realistic. I don't think Man U is shooting to win the league this year. I could be wrong. Everything comes out every year and say we want to win the league. I think they just want to make a championship spot this year.
Man U
right now is the extra bonus.
Man U fans still going to win the league.
Man U is on visiting visa to that top spot. It will soon expire. They're going back to where they came from.
The funniest thing I noticed about Carl, and we've been since we woke up this morning, we've been going back and forth on this issue, and it's been on Facebook, ranting about Liverpool and Man U and all of those things. One thing that I realized is that this time last season, we were not your concern because we were no threats to you. Right? Last year,
everybody knows.
We were not. Hold on. Let me finish my analysis. You were not bothered because we're like 20 points below you last season. Despite the fact that you lost to us twice, we have played you twice. But this year, all of a sudden, Man U is looking like a team that's really challenging for the title. You come up with all this, you can be top 6, this and that. But it was really correct with analysis. You do not, and I emphasize this, you do not need to win the top 5 or top 6 to win the league. If you are beating all the other teams that you're supposed to beat, you're going to win the league.
If I may answer that, if I may,
let me just quickly finish it. Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Tottenham, they are all dropping points against it. They ought to be anyhow. But if those teams cannot, if Tottenham cannot beat those little teams, and they are beating Manchester City and Liverpool, they're never going to win the league. It doesn't matter. They're not going to win the league.
May I respond now? Yinka Davids. Which team in the past 10 years has not won the race of the top 6, won the league? None. How many games has Liverpool, Man United lost? More games than City. How many games has United drawn? More games than City. How many games have United played more than City? One more than City. So look, the data is clear. In the past 10 years, there's been no team, not one team, that has not beaten the top 6 rivals has gone to win the league in the modern game. It's the data is clear. Check the facts. It's not me. Check it. Because the fact that if you beat your peers, you're more likely to get points from people who are not as strong as you. In order to win, hold on. I let you speak now. In order to win the championship, you have to rack up points against your peers. That's why Jose Mourinho has a very good chance of doing well this year because he's beating his peers. After Liverpool, he's next. So it's not me saying it's just the facts.
Okay, can I say something?
Yeah.
Calm. Let me say this. This same time last season, when we played Liverpool, right? Liverpool beat us like 2-0. It could have been more than 2-0, right? Liverpool was almost 30 points at the end of Manchester United. This same time last season. That's 1 point for you. What I'm trying to say to you is that if Manchester United, with our current makeup, are winning all the lower teams in the league, whether we lose to or Liverpool or Tottenham, it wouldn't matter. We're still going to finish the top 4, challenging for the EPL title. With the way this season is, see how close it is. Do you know how many points Tottenham has lost or dropped?
I agree with you. I agree. That's just.
You can't use the last 10 years to judge this. This is the closest season ever.
I agree with you, Yinka Davis, that yes, you will challenge for the top 4, but you won't win the league. I agree with you because the team that's able to beat their top 6
I'm not if we win the league, it's still
anyway.
Is Tottenham going to win the league?
They possibly can. If they keep beating their peers. I'm telling you.
I think we spent enough time on this, but I think United have first.
Let's. But United have done well. To be fair, they have done well to the fact that Oli has done well to get them up there. However, a better manager would have made them clear. That's my own point of view. But they've done well.
Yeah, we just differ. Everybody.
We had a better manager. We had better managers before. Only.
Yeah, about 10.
What did we get out of it?
Okay, let's talk about mid-season grades. What do these teams have to do in the second half of the season to get better? Arsenal, how do we see Arsenal behaving so far? What do you think happened to them?
Dang, that's a tough one. I'll go first.
Yeah.
Arsenal, I think they had a bad run of games. I think Arteta, he might be in over his head, but I think he's making a slight comeback. And I don't think he can play the type of football he saw at Man City. And I think that's his problem. He wants to replicate what he had at Man City with the players he has at Arsenal. And I think that's a bit difficult. So I think he's trying to learn to not be that total football team that he wants right now because you don't have the quality you had at City. So you kind of have to change things a little bit. But I see him maintaining that. I don't see them in the top 4. I don't even see them in top 6. I think they'll try to get in Europa, but I think next year he needs to change his strategy of how to manage the team that he has and not the team that he wishes he had.
Did you guys watch Thomas Partey today? What do you guys think about him? I thought it was brilliant today. It was really, really good.
He's Newcastle now. He played against Newcastle. I beg you.
Thomas Partey's problem is going to be the same problem he had at Atletico. Consistent, right? Remember Atletico, you had a great game, you have a bad game, and you have a okay game. He's not consistent game per game. That's his problem. He's a quality player when he's consistent, but when it's not going to be consistent. Now, about Arsenal, I think what Arsenal needs to do is to keep doing what they're doing, which is keep working with the younger players, because obviously that's what has been benefiting them. Remember, 2 weeks ago, everybody was saying they should sack Mikel Arteta, and I'm like, no, he needs more time. He needs to develop his team. He needs to develop this guy. They need to gel a little bit more. The over reliance on Aubameyang is not going to help them. I don't know why Lacazette doesn't play more. I just don't get it. Players like Lacazette and Lucas that don't play a lot, I don't understand why. They need more time on the field. You can see that today. Yes, he didn't score, but at least he put in the work. So Arsenal, they should just go ahead and just keep winning and hope for Europa. At least top 6 should be able to keep Mikel this job.
Yeah. Pajay, what do you think about Saka? Should he play for Nigeria? Bukayo?
Of course, it would be nice. So it would be nice. I mean, I know England has captain, but I think we can try to go and beg them once they find somebody that can replace him. Maybe another Englishman that they can use, and they can just give us our Saka and let us go in peace.
That's a baller, eh?
I mean, the boy is good. The boy is good. The boy is good. I mean,
speaking of Saka, I like Pajay's honesty, to be honest. If you ask one of our other FanZone colleagues, we tell you, it's not good enough. That's why it's not on the team.
No. I mean, and as far as what Arsenal should do, once Europa League enter and kicks in and begin to watch them again, they will find out what time is. When they go and play in Igbo Kyrgyzstan, whatever that long distance place near the other side of the planet. As a Chelsea fan, I can't wish Arsenal very well. Sorry, the bad bellitis is there. But to be honest, Arteta is learning on the job. The team was predictable in those bad run of matches they had because they didn't have too many tactics to go with. It's like you can tell where the attack was going to come from. Like when they beat us in the FA Cup, before they scored that goal, they kept trying the same thing over and over and over until it worked. Yeah. And EPL is the kind of league where people will sit down and watch your games. When Conte was using 3-4-3, 3-5-2, they sat down, everybody came with three at the back. That's what you want to do. I'm okay. We'll go die here. So and I think it took them a while to adjust to the fact that everybody was shutting down that left side. So, like Inka said, he needs to, realize that he doesn't have the same caliber of players he had at City. You have to use more than one tactic to try to break teams down. Yeah. Because if you're lobbing the ball overhead and expecting Aubameyang to always run and beat, Azpilicueta, you're not going to run into an Azpilicueta all the time. So once you shut that down, it's like, where is the creativity going to come from? And once Europa League sets in and they have to go play on Thursdays and come back, we're going to find out. But that's where he's going to earn his pay.
Let's talk about Chelsea. Tomorrow's a big game for Chelsea against Leicester. A massive game.
Yeah.
What do Chelsea have to do the second half of the season to climb up to make sure that they get into the top 4 and challenge for the title?
No. All I hear is a bad belly somewhere.
I'll let the Chelsea fans go first. You guys go.
Go ahead.
No, I'll go first. Right? Yeah. I've said it and I will say it again. Listen, Chelsea has a good team. Yeah. The only thing that's left is just time. They need time to gel. The players are there. The personals are there. I like Lampard. I've liked him since they appointed him. The only thing is, everybody is complaining about Chelsea not winning. Listen, we're not finishing the chances. Timo is in a bad form right now. He's in a rut. But you see that chances are getting created. Chelsea is creating 7 to 15 chances per game. The last game against Fulham, we won 1-0. Mason Mount by himself created at least 7 chances, right? When you create 7 to 15 chances, scoring chances per game, and you are missing, it doesn't mean your team is bad. It just means you are not finishing up front in it or attacking third. That's the only problem we have, which means it's just a matter of time for us to gel. Chelsea has no problem. Everybody that is freaking out, that's their own personal problem. I personally, as a Chelsea fan, I'm not freaking out. I like what I'm saying. I like the progress. And once everything click, and Kyle, remember I said at the beginning of the season, I said if Chelsea can gel with these new guys that they brought in, with the talent they have, it's going to be a problem. The problem is how long will it take them to gel? And we're seeing now that it's taking them longer than we expected. And you got George, you can rub your beer all you want.
I'm not saying anything. I'm letting you
But we want to be constructive. We want to be constructive here. Inka Davids and Inka George, what honestly, what do Chelsea have to do to
Hey, okay. I'm going to David waiting to counter. I'll go there. Name to go next. Look, all before the season started, you couldn't get a Chelsea fan to stop talking. They just wanted to talk about it. Let me finish, please. They spent like $500 billion and they bought the best player in the world, Kai Havertz, and they bought Timo, and you just couldn't get them to stop. And I kept telling them, guys, your problem was that you chopped goals last time. You have not solved that yet. But they were like, oh, we got all these wonderful players. They're so great. And what happens? Timo is not firing the way they thought he would. And so you've compounded your problems. You're conceding goals and you're still not scoring as much as you're supposed to. And Kai Havertz is not what it's supposed to be. $90 million? That's a waste of money. Whoever the scout is for Chelsea needs to be fired. They need to fire whoever that person is and replace that person with a competent person. Because you went out and bought this $90 million guy that's no, stop talking about Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is on his way. He turned out to be a judge. And they made excuses for him. Oh, his injury, he's on the bench. Lampard's in over his head. He might get fired because their owner does not take nothing. He doesn't take nonsense. So he's going to wait a couple more games. If they're not getting in the top 4, he's going to be gone. The Lampard that you love will be gone. Okay? So that's where Chelsea is. I already told you, Chelsea will always finish behind City. And I know you guys don't like to hear it. Everybody online, please don't send me tweets. Don't at me. Go and at somebody else. Chelsea will finish behind City because that's where they belong.
Inka Davids, let's
let him say
but really, what should Chelsea do? Because they have good players. They have good players.
It's like namesake and now. It's like namesake and now. He said big for most of the day. I don't know why. Because he said it all. Number one, Chelsea is not going to make up for this season. I guarantee that. They're done. Their season is over. Their problem from last season was not resolved, like Yinka George said. They have a defensive problem, but they were investing in other areas of the team. If you a team, you have to rely on a 40-year-old what's his name? Giroud. Score goals. You are a problem. So the fact of the matter is that the Chelsea board, the coaches, the coaching team, and everything, they got to go back to the drawing board. Probably give back those players on this season, give it back to where they got them from.
Yes,
and start buying players that fit their problem. Correct. They are conceding too many goals. That's their number one problem, and they do not have a reliable striker.
But let's be honest, my own view is maybe mine is a little different though. I think that
I never talk.
Let me not talk. I think that Chelsea have good players. To be fair, I think the problem is that Frank doesn't know who his best formation, what his best formation is, and what the best players are. He plays Havertz to the right, so play him as number 10. He plays Pulisic to the left one day, then he plays Hudson-Odoi down. Hudson-Odoi to me should be the right winger, constant. Play Timo through the middle, play Pulisic to the left, Havertz to the center as number 10. Play Kante and Jorginho, then you're back 4. And let them just keep walking it out until they figure it out. But today it's 4-3-3, tomorrow it's 4-2-3-1, next year 3-4-3. Settle on a formation and trust the players to run with it. Because they have good players there. Yeah, I mean, Chilwell's a good player. That boy there, right back. What's the right back? What's his name?
Reece James.
It's a good player. He's a good player.
Don't mind them.
You know, he's a good player.
Can I say one last thing, please, before Budget goes? You can have good players in the team individually, but when you cannot put them together to make a formidable team, they are bad players as far as I'm concerned, or bad backs. That's the problem with Chelsea. You have all these individually okay players, but if you keep changing stars week in, week out, that means you don't have the right player. That was what Ole did when he got into Man U. What did he do? He cleared the house. All the players he didn't need. A lot of people were yelling at Ole for selling Lukaku to Inter and all that nonsense. But Lukaku is working for Inter. But for Ole's plan, Lukaku is not the player he wants. So it's high time Chelsea and Lampard understand that you don't keep players in the team for the sake of it. Are these players giving you what you want to win games? If they are not, they gotta go. Otherwise,
the difference between Lampard and Ole is Lampard bought these players. Ole was giving the players, so he had to get rid of them. So, like I said, it's only a matter of time for them to gel. That's what you gotta understand. These are Lampard's player. Kai, Timo, Ziyech, those are players that Lampard brought. The players you're talking about, Ole, those are players that Jose Mourinho bought, and Ole is trying to get them out the door. The Sanchez, the Lukakus, and all those guys. So there's a big difference. You can't compare that.
But what does Frank do?
Okay.
Let me set it up. Tomorrow is a big game for Chelsea because Leicester City, right? It's a big game for Chelsea.
Right.
What does Frank do tomorrow to win that game against Leicester City and get 3 points? Because he has to get 3 points. 1 point's not good enough because of the gap that's now increasing. What does Frank have to do tomorrow?
I mean, for me, that middle, I don't want Jorginho in the middle. And if Ziyech is not yet match fit, put Odoi. Because Ziyech just came back from injury, and that's what the problem I had against City. Ziyech just came back from injury. I understand Ziyech is more experienced, but he hasn't played one match, and you put him in against City. So for me, I like Lampard, but I just still also feel like Lampard is making some rookie errors. Like, for instance, you have a player like Kai Havertz. Kai is looking like KDB looked when Mourinho had him. Wasn't quick enough, wasn't integrated into the team. But I think in this state, for me, in this scenario, you have to change the formation to use that boy, because where he's putting him, he's not going to function there. That's not where he plays in his whole team. You have to be brave enough to, even at Diamond, you want to play Diamond. So on all this talk about why did you go and buy this kind of players? First of all, Willian and Pedro are gone. So we are more fluid up front. Okay, so yes, we're not finishing some chances, but we are creating more than we did when we had Willian and Pedro.
Thank you.
Now, we also have a goalkeeper. Now, who you buy for defense depends on who's in the market. We're not going to go and buy that 90 million pound player that even City was running away from.
Koulibaly.
There aren't that many defenders.
That's this guy.
There aren't that many defenders in the market to buy. So we say, you know what? Let's have a stopgap. We have somebody who's kind of like a John Terry who just brings some balance to the defense. And so far, it's been better than last season, because there's not so many shots going against our keeper. And whichever one goes against him, that boy has a fumba. He catches the ball most of the time, unlike Kepa. So I think that issue is resolved. For me, I think where there needs to be a change is where Chelsea is not so predictable formation-wise. If you go against certain teams, I think there's a way he should work Kai Havertz in, where he's more central, where he doesn't have to do that much running and defending. Put two of the guys who are going to do the dirty work for him, and let's try that. Because if he was a City player, even though City bought one player that Ian Katu was shouting about, the boy has only 15 minutes. So what's his name again? But I won't say anything. The player that Katu and put in front of his house.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, Havertz has had COVID, and I think he had a tough time recovering from COVID. So Ferran had it twice too. So let's see. I think.
Yeah, and I just also think that it's just a matter of adjusting to the league. Leagues affect players. Some leagues come in and some guys come in. Hazard came in, bam, entered, no problem. But some players,
Okay,
you gotta give them time.
let's move on to the next team, Leicester City. How dangerous are they, and how much are you worried about them for tomorrow's game, but also in general through the course of the season? How do we feel?
I watch a lot of City games because I'm a fan of their coach. I think Leicester this year is actually a little bit better than last year, in the sense last year they were over reliant on Vardy. Madison was getting better, but over reliance on Vardy was just too much. And earlier this year, if you look at all the games they lost, bad was because Ndidi was missing. Ndidi is a very, very crucial part on that team. Once Ndidi came back and healthy, they started winning again. The only problem they have for the rest of the season is they have to make sure Vardy stays healthy, Madison stays healthy, and so is Tielemans. Those three guys are very, very crucial to their attacking and getting goals because of the way they play. Leicester City is a team that plays counter-attack, and they've mastered it. They've mastered that counter-attack game. If only injury can keep them out of the top four this year, honestly. Because when Vardy is not there, they bring Iheanacho.
You left out an important player, Harvey Barnes.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Sorry, him too, right? But if you notice, when Vardy is out, they bring Iheanacho, nothing is happening. So, like Yika say, Harvey Barnes, Tielemans, Madison, Ndidi, and Vardy. That's the key. That's the key to their success this year. It's also the key to their failure.
Yeah.
They're not deep. So, Taya, how do we beat them
tomorrow? How do you beat them tomorrow?
So the way we beat them tomorrow is hopefully Kante is not going to beat them tomorrow. That's the problem, right? Kante is out tomorrow because of his muscle injury. So that three in the middle is going to be key. I think he should definitely not play Jorginho because Jorginho will be overrun. If he can play Kovacic, Mason Mount, obviously. I don't know who that third in the middle is. And we just have to finish. Chelsea creates chances every game. We just have to finish. If we finish tomorrow and get 2 goals or more, we win. If we don't, it's a problem. Period.
I think you have to play Hudson-Odoi tomorrow, no matter what happens.
Like I said, whoever's going to score is who we can. Now, the problem is we don't know who is our top 9, right? Is it Giroud? Is it Timo? Is it Abraham? We don't know. Abraham got the best movement out of all three. Of course, Giroud at his age, his movement is not that great, but he's good with air ball and he can shoot. So I think he should play Tammy tomorrow to start, bench Timo tomorrow, and play Pulisic, Tammy, and Odoi. That would be the front three to get goals. And if that doesn't work, we got 67 minutes, make some changes.
It's not going to work.
Giroud's movement is just not there. That's the thing. That's my only issue with Giroud. His movement is not there. You know what I mean? If it's a team that we're going to dominate possession and put balls in, then you can put Giroud in.
Yeah. Okay.
Not gonna work. If you don't play Giroud tomorrow, the best you're going to come out with is a draw.
Okay, let's talk.
I will be in my prayer corner for 90 minutes. The Okoronga mothers must do something about our 3 points tomorrow.
So let's talk about the next team. United are top of the league. Planning to play the game more. What do they have to do to get over the finish line this season and possibly win the Premier League? What does United have to do?
I think United just got to keep doing what they've been doing. I think if they keep doing what they're doing right now, maybe try a little better with the tops. If they're a little bit better with the top 6, they definitely will win the league because I see them. They mastered those lower teams. I don't know how they've done it, but they mastered those lower teams.
No, I'll tell you how they did it. Yinka, they were.
Yeah. I can't. Yinka, I gotta say this one. United club was right. Those guys get penalties like it's water. If they just touch like this, penalty.
They went and called them from
Fernandez would just lie on the ground and they'll be, hey, penalty. I don't know how they get all the penalties, but they get all the penalties. So that one. But
there was one that what's that French boy's name again? The French boy.
Martial.
Marcia, he even did one dive that he spun like he was diving into the pool. He just spun.
Yeah,
But-
they get all the penalties. I don't know how they get all the penalties, but they get. Aside from that, they are playing well. If they maintain their streak with the lower teams and do a little bit better with the top teams, they will be right there with City, Liverpool for the title.
If you withdraw their penalty, they will be 1 point behind us.
Okoye says change the back pairing of Maguire and Lindelof.
That's what I was about to respond to. I actually think that's their best back pair.
Yeah.
Or if you want to change, you can bring Baye in. But Baye is a little bit erratic sometimes, especially when you're playing a very disciplined team.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change that back pair. I've said it all year, and I've said it last year. Maguire is a top defender. He doesn't have his issues, absolutely, but he's a top defender. You know, you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, one thing I told everybody when we got Maguire is if Maguire actually stayed back, because Maguire sometimes think he's Sergio Ramos. He gets too excited. He wants to go up front, and he ends up leaving Lindelof behind. So if he stays back and actually defend the way it's supposed to be, the combination of Maguire and Lindelof is the best for United. As far as Baye is concerned, like Taye said, I always say it all the time. Baye is a great player, but sometimes he doesn't use his head. You know, use his head literally, use his sense. So that's why he gets injured most of the time, and that's why he makes, terrible mistakes.
Yeah. No, to be fair, I think United have done very well. To be fair, with the resources that they have, nobody expected them to be top at this point in time. They've done well. Yeah. Second half of the season, we'll see how far they go, and whether they want to go for the Europa League or they'll just say, you know what, let's just go for the league instead of and leave the Europa League to other teams to focus on. Let's switch to the dark horse, Jose Mourinho at Tottenham. And I call them a dark horse because they will not go.
Are we skipping City?
Oh, we're going to get to that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. because Jose Mourinho knows how to win. Whether we like him or not, he knows how to win. And he has a team, I've said it before, that a team I believe that suits his makeup. A team that are tough to beat, hardworking, not technically skillful, except for Kane and Son, but have pace, power, and what they call nasty.
Great.
Is he also a contender?
In my opinion, I think Spurs are a couple of players short of being EPL champions. In my opinion.
You didn't say that at the beginning of the season, bro. You can't change the story now. You cannot change the story now, please.
I never said they were going to win before. So I don't know what's
serious?
They can win it. They can win it. But to me, they don't look like that team that will overrun everybody. No. Wait, hear me out. For Spurs to win the league, other teams that are contenders have to drop points at critical points. They'll be up there. But for them to win the league, I don't see Spurs doing a double over City. I don't see them beating Man U 6-0 again. So I don't see them. That team that can, they're not that deep. They have like few guys they rely on. That's why I said they're a few guys short. Now, can they win it? Like if other teams drop points at critical points, pretty much like Leicester did when they didn't have to play any other teams, any other competitions but EPL? Possibly. But looking at them, they don't look like that team that I see some players on that team that they might get an odd goal here and there, but they're not like high octane all the time. Like that Lolaslo, what's his name? Lo Celso. It's like making critical passes that players in Liverpool and City would make to actually break down offenses. They will take one extra half step and pass the ball back. To me, that's the issues that teams
Ajay.
What?
Really?
Yes, really. Really? They don't have as many good players on paper, for instance, as Man U does, as City does, as even Chelsea does.
Said all of this, Ajay, you are speaking, you are singing a totally different tune right now.
We're having a constructive discussion today. Today is a different day from other days. Tomorrow we can return back to our normal. Today we're having a critical, intelligent.
When early in the when everybody said Spurs look like they can win the league, I said the same thing I'm saying now. I don't see it. They will push, but I don't see them. Teams that will win the league right off the bat, you kind of have that. You have that feel like they're likely to win it. Your Cities and your Liverpools. It's like saying Everton was going to win the league early in the season. Who will say that?
Ty said,
I don't care how good they are early in the season. I'm like, Everton go drop. They're not that deep. And I look at Spurs with the same eyes.
there's a question here. Ty said, what happened to the Gareth Bale?
He's always injured.
No, you see, I don't think. Let me just say this. I don't think Spurs getting Gareth Bale was 100% Jose's decision. And when Jose doesn't have a say in such major decision, you can almost tell that he's going to frustrate that effort, underutilize it, and throw temper tantrum at the end of the day. You understand? That's the way I see it. I don't think with Gareth Bale not playing has to do with injury or not. Jose simply does not trust him right now compared to Son and Kane. And Jose will always play players that he has absolute trust in. That is what is going on with Gareth Bale right
So let me just ask you a question on that.
I even read
how expensive Gareth Bale is.
I even read somewhere recently that they are considering, cutting the loan deal short and having back to Real Madrid this January. That was what I read somewhere. I can't remember where it was.
Yeah,
that's to tell you how much disagreement that's going on with the Spurs.
I'm not buying that story. I'm sorry, and I'll tell you why.
I'm not saying 100%.
No. I'll tell you why. Number one, Mourinho always leans back to players he has trusted from old clubs, and Gareth Bale is no exception. The only difference is injury. If you look at Mourinho's history, he will go back and got Drogba from EPL or MLS or whatever. So he's also going to look for that one experienced player that can be the X factor for his team. He's not working out now because Gareth Bale he's been injured 200 years out of the last 5. So I'm not buying the story about it's not Mourinho's buy because Spurs doesn't have any money. So if you're going to bring in a player, why would you bring in a player? How would you bring in an expensive player that the coach doesn't want?
Ty, go ahead.
So here's what I would say, right? I've been quiet and let Pajay, say his thing. I said earlier this year, and I still maintain the same thing. Tottenham is not going to win the league. The reason being is Jose Mourinho is known for losing to smaller teams, right? And the big teams, he will go all out, right? And it's a matter of how the opposing coach is willing to figure out his tactics in order to beat him. First tactic right now is Kane and Son. Imagine if Kane gets injured tomorrow and he misses a month, and this is a guy that missed at least 2 to 5 games every year due to injury. If Kane gets injured tomorrow, they will lose 5 games straight.
Yes, sir.
If Son gets injured, same thing.
Yes, sir.
I was talking about Vardy with Leicester. If Kane gets injured, what are they going to do? They can't do anything else.
Spurs are way too one-dimensional. They're way too one-dimensional.
They're too one-dimensional. And we all said earlier, sorry, Yinka, we said earlier that EPL is a league that have coaches that watch video and figure you out. And once they figure Ken out, if you notice the last game they played against Fulham, Fulham's midfielders were hitting Ken, trying to injure him. They were literally going at him. And somebody is going to be successful and take that flexible plastic rubber ankle that he's got out, and they will put him out for a couple games. It's nothing personal. Do I want it to happen to him? No, because I think he's a big talent. He's a world of a talent. But in the spirit of competition, it's going to happen. He's still going to miss games. We are halfway through the season. He's still going to miss at least 5 games this year. I don't wish bad on anybody, but it's a fact, right? Because that's their main source. So since you are one-dimensional, you have one main source, something is going to happen and they're not going to win. And if they make top 4, honestly, I will be surprised. That's my opinion.
Which supports my theory that there are a few players short of that expansive style that they can play.
Not a player. They
That's
are
why
few
they don't look like champions to me.
Let's wrap up Tottenham. I mean, I think there'll be a spoiler to one of the other teams who are contending because they can show up in one game and spoil the party for anyone. I think on the 20th they play Liverpool at home. They can spoil, but can they win the league? Unlikely. But anyway,
Top 4, but not winning the league unless the other ones go catch COVID.
Who are they gonna kick out of the top 4? Obviously, Chelsea, anyways.
You forget someone that go play Europa League. Europa League, you go and play in Kafancha and come back. We'll find out.
I'll tell you right now, like I told you at the beginning of the season, even when it looks like we were challenged, even when you guys thought that Manchester United was challenged, I told you that the worst we're going to come up with, like last season, is a top 4 finish. So we're not dropping.
I actually think United will do better than top 4.
So it's going to be, I told you, it's going to be Liverpool, City, Manchester United, and any other.
Manchester United.
Yeah,
Manchester United.
So you can't talk about City. Let's talk about City. What does City have to do, Eddie George, to push to the next level over the next 6 months?
Man. Okay, City are like I know we waited for a long time to talk about City. City, I love that team, man. I feel like Pep. I'm trying to take my time. I feel like Pep didn't believe in defense when he came into it. He came in with a style that surprised a lot of people. People are not going to agree, but Pep really made other teams adjust their game in the EPL. He did that. He came in with a style was, I am going to swarm you when you have the ball, and then when you don't have the ball, I'm going to quick on the counter, and I'm going to press you into your own half. It took teams by surprise. That's why he dominated when he won the league. And then he did it again. Teams kind of knew he was going to do it, but they still weren't sure. And that's how he was able to win the league the second time. But Liverpool gave him such a tough time because Liverpool had a better squad. They had a better defense, and they really gave City a run for the money. And then the third time, everybody kind of like, oh, you don't play no defense. We're just going to counter you. We'll sit back, we'll counter you. And then now he has had to go learn that I got to prioritize defense. And it's taken away from the offense. So I'm saying all this to say the problem we have now is the team hasn't adjusted to the fact that Aguero isn't always going to be there, and we have to find other places to score the goals because the goals are not there that used to be there. But the defense is solid now. The defense is John Stones is a different player. So we just have to learn that we can't rely on Aguero. He's old. He's going to be injured a lot, and we don't want to rely on him because if we rely on him again, if he comes back, play 5 games, get injured, and we're like, oh, okay, what we're going to do? So we have to learn that Godigan can score, Kevin De Bruyne can score, Sterling can score, Mahrez can score, and all these people scoring together, those goals will start. It won't be as much as it used to be. We don't need it to. We just need it to be maybe even half of what it used to be, and we will be solid. I feel like that's what Liverpool were. Liverpool were a solid defensive team that scored not as great many goals as City scored, because if you look at the record, we've scored the most goals for the last 10 years. But sometimes we don't win because we don't play no defense. So that's how I see City. I love watching them now because I know even a 1-0, we probably will win because the defense is solid. And that's how I see it.
Baba God, please send mosquito to Manchester City. Just send one small mosquito.
Why I just explain? Let me. Here's what I think, right? And I think I told Howard this and Yinka. I told you guys that Stone was a good buy when you bought him, right? Unfortunately, he didn't work out early, but him as a player is a solid player. Now he has somebody that he can pair with, that he can kind of control each other. Now you see the difference in what I was saying about Stone. That's number one. City, obviously, every year, as long as Pep is there, I think we always be a contender because Pep is the only guy that can get in his own way. As far as maybe overthinking games, over-analyzing formation and tactic and players and all that stuff. He's the only one that can get in his way. If he doesn't get in his way, he has a chance to win the league every year, any leagues that he goes to, and he has the kind of player that he wants. City's biggest problem is 2 things. Number one, a little bit of over-reliance on KDB, right? And two, because if KDB gets injured, who can fill that role? It's going to be kind of tough. Number two is you need a nine that can score. Right now, your midfield is great. City has got one of the best midfielder and bench midfields in the world. Period. You guys are like opposite of what Chelsea and Man U are. Where the Chelsea and Man U, they need to figure out their midfield. It's not like they don't have the personnel; they need to work together. But Pep, that's Pep's strong coaching point. You know, he's starting the attack from the midfield is great. Even when you have a good nine, it's from the work of the midfield that's making those nine score. So now, because you don't have a top nine that is starting every game like Aguero was when he was fit, that's why you're struggling to get goals. So City definitely has to wrap up. I think City is the only team that can get his own way. Pep is the only coach that can get his own way. If KDB is healthy, this January, I don't know who else is out there. I mean, Haaland is out there, but I think Chelsea is trying to drop 100 mil to get Haaland. I don't know if City is going to get him. Lewandowski is not leaving Bayern Munich. I don't know what any other top nine that is out there that you can get.
Go and buy Lukaku, please. Oh no, go and buy Lukaku.
So these are really good points, and I've thought about this as well. So a couple of things. If KDB gets injured, I think we'll be fine because in the season one in the 18-19, we didn't have KDB and we won the league.
But you had Silva.
We have Bernardo Silva. But David Silva was already aging. He didn't really play well that season compared to
Bernardo Silva was who made
Bernardo Silva was the one. The other thing too is that about this number 9 is that Pep Guardiola's best team, Barcelona, didn't have a number 9. I think he actually prefers playing without a number 9. I think he actually plays better with a false 9 than having a traditional number 9. So it's not surprising that if you look at the games where we play with a number 9 striker, with Jesus or even Aguero, we didn't score as many goals. But with the false 9 that he's played against Chelsea, against United, against the other teams, he actually scored more goals. The last time we played, it's played better. The other part too, I noticed is that the assistant coach, Juanma Lillo, is actually a defensive coach. And he's actually, I heard, is actually one that's actually teaching Pep how to actually play more defensive. So notice what they do, typically is that they try to control the ball near the halfway line using the defensive players, only break forward when they have a through pass to the offense or the midfield. So they try to keep the ball within that defensive space, within the halfway line, between Stones, Diaz, Walker, and Zinchenko. And they only move forward whenever they have an opening. So I think it's changed the way he plays. Haaland is not coming to City. He's not coming. I told City fans about this. He ain't coming. He's going to United or he's going to Chelsea. You know why? Because of Mina Raiola. And City are not going to pay 120 million for Haaland. So he's not coming.
Raiola isn't in Lukaku's agent too.
Raiola is his agent. So he's not coming to City. He's probably going to go to either United or Chelsea.
So Haaland and Lukaku are Raiola's agents?
Yeah. Raiola is Pogba, is Haaland, is some of the big.
So who is City going to, I guess that's a later conversation, look for as a 9?
Yeah, look, probably either João Felix or somebody else, but I don't think they'll get Haaland. And the City fans will go crazy because they want Haaland, but I don't think it's coming.
I think overall, if because of the links, just because of the links that his dad has to that club, I think it's possible. It will be tough because we don't like dealing with him, but I think there are some cases where a player, if it's his desire to go there, there's nothing an agent could do.
That's the exception. That's the exception. That the fact that his dad played for City, he's a City fan when he was a boy, he would want to play. But that Raiola issue is a big issue, not just because of the Raiola issue with Pep, but the Raiola fees, the percentage fees he's going to get. City doesn't like pay that kind of cash out. So it's going to be an issue.
See, that was why I was against Chelsea buying Lukaku. You buy Lukaku from us for 27 million. You want to sell him back to us for 90. Because why? Is he going to play better football?
Yeah, it's going to be an issue. So, anyway, let's move on.
No, that doesn't.
But Haaland is a
you see this goal?
Special one.
You see this goal?
Okay, the last segment of our discussion too. Let's talk about some of the big games coming up in January. Just a quick preview. What you think is going to happen? So, Leicester versus Chelsea tomorrow. Who wins that game?
Chelsea.
With the proper lineup, I think we have a chance to win.
Nika Davids, who is that game?
All like Leicester, man. the worst Chelsea is going to come out with is a drop, a tie.
Just bad belly everywhere.
The fact now, Chelsea is done. You're not going to be in top 7.
You got George.
Yeah, I'll catch you later with a little push-up bet. Don't worry, I'll catch you on the other side with a little bet.
I already know my answer. I think Leicester is going to boss them around. Indeed, he's the best midfielder in the EPL. They don't. I mean, I think after tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of noise about how Lampard should be fired.
Okay. So Yinka, can we have a bet?
I think,
and I can't wait.
No, Yinka, can we have a bet?
Let's wait and see. You see tomorrow. You'll be changing your tune tomorrow.
Can we have a bet right now? A bet right now.
Okay. I'll do it.
No, I'm not betting. I'm not betting money. I'm not betting money. And I'll tell you why I'm not betting money.
you bet fish.
If we win tomorrow, if we beat Leicester tomorrow, you will shave that baby. And I'll tell you why.
I'm not shaving any beard for you. You gotta sit down.
I think tomorrow's game. Here's my opinion. I think Chelsea will win it. For one reason only. Chelsea have to win that game tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They have to. They really have to.
So I think they'll do it.
Yes. Because I don't want you guys coming back and saying and doing like this and saying I told you so.
Sorry, if they don't do it, there's a good chance the noise for Lampard being fired gets higher tomorrow.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're a Chelsea coach, you're not just always going to be there. Lampard is not getting fired this year. I've said it; it's not going to happen.
Okay.
But
Next one, City Villa.
City Villa.
That's a tough game.
Man, Villa.
That's not a tough game.
No,
it's not a tough game.
This is not easy because of the way we play. But I feel like our defense is stronger now. That even if we score one goal, we can keep it. So I think we win. I think it's closer than a lot of people think.
Villa is going to struggle towards the end of the season. The first half of the season was great for them, but I don't know if this break that they had is actually going to benefit them. Because they were clicking, they were gelling, they were working hard, and everything was going well. And all of a sudden, they get this COVID break. So when players come up with that break, you don't know what's going to happen. So I think this is going to be the time they really have to prove themselves. You know, I think from now to the end of the season, they may struggle than what they have in the first half. The second half is one of those things that I think is going to be tougher for them. Same thing I think about Leicester. I think Leicester is going to struggle even harder in the second half compared to the first half.
Okay. Next game, Man United Liverpool, FA Cup.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big one. That's on Sunday.
United.
Liverpool. Last game I picked Man U. This game I'm picking Liverpool because Klopp is a genius.
I think United's going to win it because Klopp doesn't really take FA Cup seriously.
I think United win.
Klopp is a genius.
Yeah.
Well, Liverpool will win, and mine is purely by belly.
Okay, next one. Southampton Arsenal on the 26th.
That's going to be a tough one.
I love Arsenal, but Southampton winning that one.
I got Southampton too.
Okay. On the 27th, Chelsea Wolves, Premier League. Chelsea are
Wolves are in a spiral.
Easy, Chelsea. Wolves is struggling.
Win that one.
It's easy.
27th.
How did you lose to them last time?
It happens.
Wow.
Next one is the Everton Leicester. Everton at home.
Oh.
That's
One of my favorite coaches, but I'm going with Everton.
Everton.
Some big games in January, man. On the 28th, the next day, Tottenham versus Liverpool. That's a big game.
Where is it happening at?
Tottenham. That's a big game.
Jose is going to pull it off. I don't like that dude, but he'll pull it off. Watch. He'll pull it off.
You can't be confused. He does not know who to pick. He doesn't know whether he wants Man U to win, Liverpool to lose. I mean, for Spurs to win or lose, because he knows what's going to happen.
You got Davis. Oh, you got Davis. Great hair. Just do that real quick.
All of a sudden, his screen froze.
Taye knows that if I have to put EPL title, winning EPL title on the line, for Jose to get humiliated with that. So I'm picking Liverpool to win that game.
That's a big game because, and you know the funny thing, that
And you
game.
go to church, you go to church, you carry this much bad belly, you go to church with all this bad belly, it's okay.
The funny thing, that game is the next game. It's the next game that Liverpool have. So Liverpool have to win their game. They're going to keep up to the top. If they lose that game or drop points, and Tottenham either get points, that means that, and Chelsea get points, all of a sudden Liverpool drops into like top 6 and down, and the gap increases, which means it becomes even much more difficult. So that's a tough one. I don't know how. I don't know how to call that one. But
it might be a draw.
That's on the 28th. Okay. So finally, just two things. Anybody watching Inter Milan?
I did.
They battered Juventus there on.
Yes, they were clinical going forward. I think the second half Juventus was really trying, but it was too late.
I think we should get it.
Yeah, Lukaku didn't score, but he just bossed them. He's just so strong. He's so strong, man. Like he just bossed everybody. He just body you, and you can't do anything. I love that his turn where he faces the defender, he holds you off with one arm, and he spins in one move, and there's nothing you really can do.
And then, did you watch that clip that he showed on with I think it was Thierry Henry, where he showed like once I back up like that, I spin you.
That's the one I'm talking about. He does it all the time. You can't do anything about it. There's nothing you can do.
He busted Bonucci and he made him age at least 5 years older. He put 5 years on his age. But Juventus, though, I don't know why they didn't start beginning. Every time the kid started, they play well. I don't understand that. What was Pirlo thinking?
Pirlo's not really experienced, is he? I mean, his first job, first time. It's tough. And they are 5th right now. They have a massive points gap to Inter Milan or Milan on top.
They're going to bring Sarri back. Where he's going?
AC Milan won their game today.
AC Milan looking good, man. Again.
Yeah, they're looking good. I forgot about them.
Yinka, that left back, Thiago Hernandez, we need to get him more.
Yeah, you think they will sell him like that?
I like you guys just reality check.
No, because every time we mention a player, all of a sudden it's now 150 million. Just mention one guy name, they just say 150 million. We talk about well.
That Arab money is flowing the cow's blood.
No, Yinka George. What happens is when they see you guys coming, they move the decimal point.
Every time we get the player that was 20 million. If we had bought Diego Jota, they would say Diego Jota was 110 million.
Meanwhile, I do like Alex. Okay, Alex Telles. I like United's Alex Telles. And then let's see, what's the question here? Do you think Donny is always by because he's lack of gameplay? What do you think of Van de Beek? Because when he was at Ajax, he was talented, man. What the hell happened?
Yeah, what happened to Donny? Doesn't play. I don't know why.
So here's the thing, right? I think we've talked about this online. Sometimes when players make a change from other leagues, it takes a while. Even in practice, you don't see what you want to see. Look at what happened to João Felix when he first came. Van der Beek now is going through that. There's another guy I forgot. I think Juve bought him, the center back. I can't think of his name. It takes a while for them to adjust, and that issue sometimes linger. Like João Felix is the top player, but last year he sucked. This year you can see the true him. This is the same thing with Timo is going through, and some other players are going through at Chelsea. It takes a while to really adjust, especially when you're coming to EPL. That is the issue. Now, Van der Beek next year should be playing the game time that Fred is playing. Fred should be relegated next year, and Blake should be able to take that playing time. It takes a while.
No. Let me tell you what's going on with Van der Beek right now is a function of the fact that the middle players that we have right now, and it's going to take a while to actually get this opportunity. Fred is doing well right now. Fred struggled in his first 1.5 seasons. It's really one of our most and the young guy, what's his name? Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is doing extremely well.
Yeah, we're losing you.
What about you? Like walking.
We are losing you,
So what?
Ika, but we're losing you.
So we've been.
Your internet is
Yeah, too many people on your dial-up.
Okay. Okay, well, let's wrap this up, guys. Let's wrap this up. Anybody watch the Messi's red card?
I heard about it.
I saw the car. I was watching the game.
Ofuleshe.
Yeah, it was a close fist. He was frustrated. He hit him around the head. It wasn't as. It's kind of a frustration thing. It wasn't like I want to punch you. It was like Mofe, I want to push you away with my hand. So he kind of hooked him and pushed him in. But the guy sold it. As soon as he did it, the guy, hey, you're broken on my jaw. My jaw is broken. My head is broken.
And it was rolling like Neymar from Spain to
they look at it. The ref just look at it one time. They're like, I have to deck you.
but it's a red though. Let's agree. Regardless of him faking or not
Oh
faking.
yeah.
Everybody else does it is a red.
He sold it. It's a red, but he sold it.
Yeah.
They
I
say
didn't see it, but I watched the highlights later and I'm like, come on. You should know better. But again, frustration can get to people.
they say they get a 4-match ban, so that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch,
you get it banned because it was kind of unnecessary.
yeah, and I think even though I'm not as huge a Messi fan as everybody else on the planet, but when you watch a player who has more or less been the embodiment of that team, and you see what they're going through this season, and it's like almost watching a smart kid that is not pulling his weight, and just want to just give him one small something to lift his spirit, so to speak. And that's the frustration you saw right there. Like,
But you know what that is? You know what that is, though? They also know that they're not going to win the league this year, or they don't think they're going to. This trophy was supposed to lift their spirit, and they were up at some point. So for them to not win this trophy, this is one trophy they thought, okay, this is the turnaround time for them to, they've been going like this. So they thought, okay, if they win this, they can come back up. For the fact they lost it, I think that's part of the psyche that is really messing with them.
I mean, it's a difficult time for Barcelona. I mean, what happened with the president who's gone now? Elections have been cancelled from January to summertime. They have no money. They can't even buy Eric Garcia for 5 million. They have no money to buy anyone.
Yeah.
You're taking that players are taking pay cuts. It's a difficult time for Barcelona because the other guy just spent anyhow. Almost destroyed the club. So we'll see what happens. But last question before we wrap up. We have 3 minutes. Who has been your signing of the season so far for your club and also for the Premier League? Let's start with you got David. Your signing of the season so far for your club, and who you think in the league who's made the most impact on the club?
I don't think Bruno. Yeah, Bruno is 1 year this month. I don't know if that counts, but
It counts if
apart
you think
from
it
Bruno, not really. What?
Okay. Paje, how about you?
I'm kind of stuck between the goalie and the center back that we got, because with our Brazilian maestro, the center back, I think he's brought a lot of stability to that defense. He speaks French to the other players. There's some kind of calm in there. But I'm kind of in between him and the goalie because the goalie has been a massive. I mean, we don't know how many times we've said, if na Kepa, that ball na goal, even if na back pass, So for me, it's not going to be anybody further upfield from there. It's between those two.
Okay.
I'm kind of like him, because it's half season. I can't say, but if you have to force me to make one, I'll say the center back because they've kind of limited the amount of shots that our keeper is seeing.
That's fair enough. Aditya, what about you?
I mean, without a doubt, I mean, it's Ruben. Ruben Diaz has done. I think Stones to actually give Ruben Diaz like a signing bonus because that's what Stones needed. He needed a leader. Somebody. Ruben is young, but he needed somebody to look at and say, "Okay, I'm gonna be better." Because when he had company, Stones was good, and then company left, he just crumbled. And Ruben Diaz just came in and said, "Don't worry, I got you. We'll figure this out." And they communicate. Like Ruben Diaz for me, but I'm thankful, Jesus. Thank you for not answering my prayer when I prayed for Koulibaly. I thank you very much, Jesus. You didn't answer that prayer, and you knew what was best for me because I know me and Mike were praying for Koulibaly, and you said that's not what you need. You need to get that guy, and you give us Ruben Diaz. Thank you, Jesus. I believe in you. Thank you. That's all I got.
Thank God, you know what I thank God about? Otamendi is gone. Otamendi is gone. But Tai,
Me, Mike, and Uche were praying for Koulibaly. Koulibaly, stay where you are. We don't need you anywhere in this game.
I told you guys.
Tai, what about you? Who's your player?
For my team, definitely for me, it's Mendy. Yes, Thiago has been phenomenal. He's actually exceeded my expectations. But it's just when you have a goalkeeper that you know has got your back, everybody's kind of calmed down, you know. Even the fans are like, oh, even when they score on him, he's like, oh wow, he tried, but you know, there's nothing he could have done. Nobody else could save that goal. So he's kind of calmed the whole club, and obviously the headache and the high blood pressure that Kepa used to cause, and I was a fan of Kepa when he first came, so I admit I was wrong on that call, you know. So definitely for Chelsea's Mendy. For everybody else, I want to pick two players. I agree with Yinka as far as Bruno, but Bruno could be last year or this year. So with that said, I'm going to go with Jota. I didn't think Liverpool needed Jota, but he has come in and changed that team. Unfortunately, he's injured now, and we don't know what to expect when it comes back from injury. But I would say Jota and Bruno kind of tie for the whole league.
Well, thanks for everybody's comments. In about 2 weeks' time, we start with the Champions League and Europa League again. Chelsea will be starting, City will be starting, United will be starting in the Europa League.
Who's your you didn't tell us who's your player?
Oh, for me, I think it's Ruben Diaz for me. Just the change that he has made. I mean, ever since we got Ruben Diaz, I think City have conceded 13 goals in total. At the first goal against Leicester, we conceded 5. So we've conceded 8 since Diaz has been playing. I mean that's in 17 games. It has to be Ruben Diaz. I actually enjoy watching defending now, and yes, it's for me. It has to be him. Jota, I think, has been fantastic as well. I think Mendy is probably Chelsea's best signing last summer because of the impact he has made and the confidence he gives it back for. For Man United, it has to be Bruno Fernandes for me.
You know, one thing I will add for Chelsea. I didn't hear anybody mention his name, but Ziyech, out of all the players, Ziyech, he's been the best.
Yeah.
I think, George, if people want to know how good Hakim Ziyech is, there's one game I want you to go and watch. I watch it whenever I'm feeling sad. Whenever I'm sad or depressed, there's one game I watch. Ajax versus Real Madrid at the Bernabeu Champions League 2 years ago.
Yeah,
go and watch that game. If you want to know how good that kid is, watch that game. It is.
Ziyech is good. Injuries have kind of slowed him down. I think with time, you're going to see Ziyech be one of the best players on Chelsea. You'll see.
I agree. But you know who? Sorry to cut you guys off. But one player that has actually gone under the radar for Chelsea fans, especially, is Ben Chilwell, the left back. That came last year. That guy has been consistent, going forward, going backwards. That's why I said that backline has improved, you know. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but for me, I think Mendy gives you guys a chance.
Yeah.
To stick in the game.
Yinka George, please, if you guys need a backup goalie, come and buy Kepa. $15.
No, we don't need him. Thank you. No.
Anyway.
We need it for free.
In 2 weeks' time, we'll start with the Champions League and Europa League discussion. Until then, Paje, any last words?
Not much. I'm gonna be with my prayer corner for 90 minutes tomorrow. I'm very close to going to Amazon.com/Mojo right now to buy them some Mojo because they need to get something back. Other than that, I'm looking forward to a good. I think we have a nice set of runs. If we can get past Leicester, I think we have a nice set of winnable matches coming up.
David, any last words for Yinka David?
I'm going to be
Come to
celebrating. I'm going to be celebrating Chelsea loss tomorrow with my team right here.
Why did you ask him question? When his screen froze, when his screen froze, you can have just moved that to Yinka George. Or Tai. Because
I
you
did,
always do this feel bad, Bele.
George, any last words from you?
This season is very unpredictable. I think there are maybe 4 teams that can win this league this year. I'm really surprised at United being up there, like really. And so that's why I got to give Ole his props, man. I can't even hate on the guy, though. I got to give him his props. So I love this season because it's unpredictable. It's not like when City won it or when Liverpool won it, where it was just like everybody's just like, what's the point? So I'm excited for this season. I hope COVID doesn't end anything. In Jesus' name, peace.
Amen.
Barring COVID stoppage, I think it's going to be a great season.
Absolutely. Ty?
Nothing for me. I pray for Chelsea. Hopefully, all our players can gel and finish this second half of the season stronger than the first half. Outside of that, everybody stay safe. COVID is real. Let's pray that we all get the vaccine soon enough so that we can come to the studio and drink with Yinka.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And from me, I just wanted to say happy birthday to Pep Guardiola. He's 50 today.
Yeah.
Football age or the real thing?
The real. I hope.
Just checking.
Yeah, but wishing him a happy birthday and wishing him many, many more returns and good success. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Afrobeat FanZone show, and we'll see you very soon the next time. Enjoy, stay safe, and be safe amongst this COVID. Ciao.
You are locked into Afrobeat Live.
Tunes from the motherland and beyond. Don't touch the dial.